Have you ever experienced a moment that changed your view of someone? 30 years ago, I was flown to a private island as a professional dancer. I was about to perform for the 60th birthday of the famous movie star Omar Sharif. I was over the moon. I had seen him in Funny Girl and Dr. Zhivago and Lawrence of Arabia. He was a legend. After my performance, I was escorted up a marble staircase into an opulent suite, and I was told to wait. As I sat on the giant bed with a silk golden canopy, I knew, well, I could assume that Omar Sharif would probably come into the room and expect me to sleep with him. This is commonplace in showbiz, and I learned to fend people off many, many times, unfortunately. Sure enough, Omar Sharif entered the room in all his glory, and he sat next to me on the silk brocaded bed. This was that moment. I wasn't sure what to do. Known as the most handsome man in the world, he leaned into me. He looked into my eyes, and he said to me, "You're too young to be traveling alone to private islands, and you need to eat more." Instead of making a pass at me, he passed me a tray of treats. He fed me. He praised me for my performance, and he made sure that I got home safely. Omar Sharif was one of the kindest, nicest, most respectful men I had ever met. But that wasn't the only time that I was surprised by someone. I found out that late at night, after my boyfriend would leave my house, he would go to my best friend's house every single time. I could see her cottage down the lane from my window, and I was crushed. I was devastated, shocked. My best friend and boyfriend of 6 years were sleeping together. I didn't want to talk to them ever again. But time passed and difficult conversations needed to be had. And I moved through the pain. They apologized many times throughout the years. I got through the feelings of betrayal and resentment and anger. But it wasn't until I looked through the lens of the Chinese 5 elements that I could truly forgive them. And I did forgive them. I forgave both of them. One, because I wanted to move on in life with peace in my heart, but also because I realized that every one of us, you, me, Omar Sharif, my best friend, my boyfriend, we all live and behave according to our element. So what are the Chinese 5 elements? Well, the Chinese figured people out over 2,500 years ago in 475 BC. They knew that there were 5 human types, personality types, or elements of water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. And that these elements show how you act and how you react. For instance, Omar Sharif was known as an earth element. The earth element type is kind and warm and compassionate, and it's really important to them that other people feel cared for. My best friend was a fire type. And fire types are also warm and loving, but they're unpredictable. They need to be loved. They need to feel love. They need to love, and they love pleasure, which can put them into tricky situations. So, how do you know what your element is? And how does this unfold in your life? Well, with my best friend, knowing that she was a fire type, helped me move past the intense pain. Knowing that she was passionate and spontaneous, and that fires come alive with physical intimacy more than the other 4 types. Mix that with my best friend's crippling insecurity, and I knew that her poor lapse in judgment had little to do with me. Knowing the 5 elements tells you why people do what they do. If somebody is going to be loyal or not, whether they're going to lie or be honest, whether they're going to work better in a large group or alone, whether they're going to be prone to depression. The 5 elements tell you all of this, and they also give you self-awareness. Oh, and they can help you predict your health challenges. Yes, the 5 elements tell you what parts of your body are susceptible to pain and disease and injury. For instance, the water type needs to look after their kidneys and their bladder. The wood type, their liver and their gallbladder. And the metal type, for instance, their lungs and their large intestine. This is why the 5 elements are taught to medical doctors in Asia. They are that important. All right, so how do you find out what your element is? Well, ask yourself this question. How do I respond emotionally to stress? Is it with fear? You're probably a water. Is it with anger? Probably a wood. Is it with panic? Possibly a fire. Over worry, you could be an earth. And grief, probably a metal. So, next time, well, actually, before the next time you're in a stressful situation, take out a piece of paper and a pen, or what everyone is using now, your phone, your iPad, your laptop, and write down the answer to this one question. How do I emotionally respond to stress? Knowing your element and the element of those around you builds empathy, because you know that everybody is living a life through the lens of their own element. And when you understand that, all of your relationships will become easier. So I leave you with this wisdom today from Thich Nhat Hanh, the spiritual leader who said, "We are all here to awaken from the illusion of our separateness."